Carrying gear in a decent riding pack with both hydration and protection built in is something that can definitely be taken for granted. Before the CamelBak, we were all roadie jerseys with the back pockets loaded with stuff, rattly old saddlebags and water bottles that used to just eject on every descent. Though today, you're going to see a mixture of riders using a combination of water bottles, hip packs and different sized riding bags. When CamelBak arrived on the scene, they very nearly killed off the water bottle. Let me tell you about it. CamelBak came on board with us at GMBN a little while ago, so I thought I'd take this opportunity to talk to you about the brand and how it came to be, because it's not that often in any market that someone designs a product that then goes on to define an entire category of products. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. It's 1989 and I'm 10 years old and I'm already a super fan of the emerging sport of mountain biking. I read every publication cover to cover and I'm completely obsessive about the small details. By the time I'm 12, I'm actually out there doing it. I'm riding, I've got a mountain bike, and I'm actually spending most of my time seemingly picking up my water bottles because they keep firing off the bike. You've got to bear in mind that mountain bikes back then were bone shakers. They were rigid, they had no suspension whatsoever. And a decent mid-range bike weighed around 28 pounds or so, but the heavy things I was riding as a kid were probably nearer 34 pounds. Add on to that your pump, your water bottles that fired off all the time, the saddlebag, all that stuff. Man, mountain bikes were so heavy back then. But a new product came to the market called the CamelBak, with a flurry of positive reviews in the media all over the world. The idea of ditching ugly and unreliable bottles and cages off my bikes and losing a significant amount of weight off the bikes really appealed to me, and seemingly every other mountain biker I met for the next decade or so. The CamelBak had arrived, and the coolest thing was, it was a product that was born from necessity, so naturally it inspired a whole generation of products that came afterwards. But there was some orientation to be done. The naive kid that absorbed all the information also believed the hyperbole. One of CamelBak's first major advertising campaigns featured the moniker "Hydrate or Die." Clearly, a really apt statement if you're a mountain biker taking on Moab in 50-degree heat. Didn't really apply though, did it, to a 14-year-old kid taking on the British winter. Now I remember one particular race, I think it was like Brentwood in Essex, cross-country race, and I drank the entire 2 litres of water before the race was halfway done. And I was so sure that it was going to help my performance. Except I spent probably 10 minutes peeing on a tree mid-race, which had the complete opposite effect. But lesson learned, CamelBak became a close friend of mine over the years, and I learned how to manage using one. The story of CamelBak dates back to 1988, when cyclist Michael Edison was taking on a 100-mile road race in the sweltering Texas sun. Now, being a medic, he was concerned about the amount of fluid he was going to be able to take on during the race and exactly how he was going to carry it and be able to drink on the fly. But, being a medic, of course, he had a few tricks up his sleeve. So he simply got an IV bag, put it inside a tube sock and slung it in his rear jersey pocket. The hose went over his shoulder, pinned it onto his jersey, and there we go. The basic concept for the CamelBak was born. The next year, 1989, they released the first CamelBak. And this is roughly what it looked like. So this one is just a mock-up. It's essentially a celebratory version, but it's the same exact looking bag. A very basic neoprene sleeve, 2 very basic nylon straps, with clips so you can run them in a cross fashion or as shoulder straps, and a basic bladder on the inside. Now this bladder is a little bit more advanced than the original one. The original one, you couldn't actually detach the hose from the bladder itself, and the original one lacked the locking feature. But the fundamentals were there. The bladder, the way you carry it on your back, and more importantly, the bite valve, that was there from the beginning. Over time, the bags, of course, have been refined. CamelBak worked on different shapes and sizes of bags, different capacities of bladders to suit different riders and what they wanted out on the trail. But they did this on their own for some time. It wasn't until the late 90s, really, that other brands started exploring hydration packs. Brands like K2, Source and Hydropack started coming into the scene and developing their hydration packs. And then, of course, there was the outdoor market as well for hiking and stuff. So you had brands like Osprey, Salomon, Valde, Vango, and various others come in. And some of these brands would just make a pack, essentially, and they would license the bladder technology. But CamelBak was the brand that created this whole market, and they absolutely owned it from day one. It wasn't uncommon for the first 10 years or so in the hydration pack world to hear of any hydration pack universally referred to as a CamelBak. Since 1992, CamelBak products have actually also been used by the military, and they still are today. Now, their military range is absolutely massive. There's loads of products in there, ranging from like tactical bladders made of much tougher material to materials even that are impervious to threats like mustard gas, and they even have advanced filtration systems built into them that enables them to drink poor water safely when they're out in the field. You can even say there's space technology in the CamelBak bladders. NASA came on board in 2003 when they were looking for a valve to use with their hydration systems inside the spacesuit. How cool is that? So essentially, they have a version of these bite valves that was designed essentially so it wouldn't leak in zero-G conditions. Now the bite valve, the CamelBak released from day one, this one is a slight variation on it. Essentially, this is the thing that really separates them from the rest of the hydration bladder market. There's loads out there, there's loads of good systems, but really this one has the highest flow rate and it's super easy to use and it doesn't leak. No fuss and it works. Now, despite specialising in hydration bladder systems that you wear on your body, CamelBak also know that people still love using water bottles. So in 2006, they redesigned the water bottle. You had this massive opening on the top, which, okay, wasn't unfamiliar. Some other brands had done this in the past. But what really separated the CamelBak bottles apart was the fact they included a variation of their bite valve on the top. This meant it was super easy for you to drink water on the fly, and also they incorporated the perfect amount of squish on the bottle. Now that might sound daft to you, but if you've got a bottle that's quite firm, when you're really gagging for thirst and you've got to get water in as quick as you can, they soon become problematic. I'm sure some of you have used a bottle out there that you just can't squeeze. They're pointless. You've got to have a good amount of squishability and a valve that gets the water into your mouth quickly. They absolutely nailed it. And these latest ones even have a little hood on them to keep the mud out. Perfect. Since the humble CamelBak was introduced, things have come a long way. These days, you've got just about every shape, size and capacity of bag out there for different styles of off-road riding, and even for different sports. You've got vests that are suitable for running as well as riding. You've got massive bags that suit all-day riding. You've got hip packs, and you've even got fully waterproof bags that we've screamed for in the Northern Hemisphere. The bags are absolutely loaded with features like pockets as well, which are really usable and really well thought out. You've got hip pockets, which are ideal for things that you need whilst you're in the saddle. You have pockets on the outside of packs that are capable for holding full face and open face helmets. And even on the inside, you have separations so you can carry tools. And there are even things like tool belts included with some of the bags, enabling you to fill up with a little toolkit to take with you, and perhaps you could even take that in another bag with you. The fact is that every detail has been considered to suit the type of mountain biker that is going to be buying the bags. And some of the bags even have back protection built in, like this Hawk here. Now, these back protectors meet level 2 requirements, and that is the certification needed for racing in certain countries. So really do consider this type of protection because of the fact it can be in your bag the whole time, it's comfortable, you don't even know it's there because it's so light. What a great thing to have included inside a hydration pack. Even the bladders have some pretty cool tech in them. Okay, so you have a huge opening so you can stuff it full of ice cubes and stuff as well, and also makes for easy cleaning. But something I quite like is the simple baffle. There's essentially an internal chamber that's inside here. Now you won't feel it just by squishing things around, but when you will notice it is when the bladder is completely full and it doesn't slosh around on your back. The early bladders, like the one I showed you from that 1989 original one there, when that was full, you could feel it sloshing around on the inside, so quite disruptive. Small feature makes a big impact on the way that you ride. And you can also have water filtration now on the brand new range of CamelBaks. Brilliant feature to have, especially if you're doing multi-day racing or if you're interested in doing things like bike packing. I mean, why would you not want to consider features like that? And again, if that is too much for you, then you don't have to go for that. You can go the opposite end of the spectrum, because they even make things like the hip pack, a simple waist pack, and it can also store a water bottle in there. It's genuinely something for everyone. Well, there we go, that's CamelBak for you. Hopefully today's video has given you a bit of insight to the brand and why they produce massive bags like the one I'm using today, all the way down to small packs and even just water bottles. If you've got any questions about hydration packs in general, back protection, anything we've talked about in the video, please get in touch in the comments underneath, and we'll see you in another video soon. See you later.